Good morning everyone. From today's class we are going to start a new topic, that is your fluid mechanics. Now in fluid mechanics you basically have two subparts. One is fluid statics which is also called as hydrostatics. Hydro means indirectly it is water. And next thing is fluid dynamics. So basically you have two parts, one is fluid statics and other is fluid dynamics. Okay. Now static word indicates it is at rest. Okay. Static word indicates that it is at rest. So now here when I am referring to fluid statics, your liquid is at rest with respect to container. Okay, liquid is at rest with respect to container. So what do I mean by this? I will tell you. Now if you take some liquid and if you are accelerating this container in this manner, even though it is accelerating, okay, when it is accelerating it gets tilted like this. Your liquid surface will get tilted like this. Why that is the case I will explain later, but this is also fluid statics only, because if somebody is standing from here and observing this liquid is at rest with respect to container. Okay, so liquid is at rest with respect to container, that is fluid statics. Okay, next, what is fluid dynamics is your liquid will be in motion. Liquid will be in motion with respect to container. That means your liquid will move with respect to container. Okay. So here for example liquid flowing in pipes. Okay. So when liquid is going like this, okay, it is actually called as streamline flow. So flow of fluid in pipes. Okay. For this the example is flow of fluid in pipes. Okay, right? So like this you have two major topics. Okay, so your fluid mechanics I am just basically dividing it into two parts. One is fluid statics and other is fluid dynamics. And your fluid statics is that part of the chapter where in which our liquid is at rest with respect to container, and fluid dynamics is the part, okay, fluid dynamics is the part in which liquid moves with respect to container. Okay, right? So now this is your basically your fluid mechanics. Okay, now, okay, right? So now here we will discuss fluid statics part in detail. Then once this part is done, then we will go to fluid dynamics. Okay. So for today's class we are going to see only the basic terms and basic introduction, that's all. Okay, now let me start. Hope you have copied this stuff down. Okay, so writing the notes, referring to the notes, you have to do it every day. Okay, right. Now first let us start the topic directly. Now so our topic is fluid statics, which is also given in some books as hydrostatics. Okay, As I have told you, your liquid is at rest with respect to container, right? Now, what is meant by fluid? First, you need to understand this word fluid. Okay, so fluid is, okay, your fluid definition is, okay, it is non-rigid system of particles. Okay, what do I mean by fluid? Means your fluid is non-rigid system of particles, okay, which flows or which moves because of its own weight. Okay, getting my point? So it is non-rigid. Okay, rigid means your distance between two points of the body will remain constant if it is rigid. Okay, R naught is constant for rigid. You take any 2 points for rigid body, distance between any 2 points will remain constant with respect to time. But what am I using the word non-rigid? Okay, right? So now your non-rigid particles, okay, non-rigid particles, okay, non-rigid particles which flow, okay, which flows, okay, because of its own weight, because of its own weight. Okay, so this basic definition is more than enough. Okay, because I am not teaching for your board, I will not give too much definitions about basic things. Okay, so if I do that, lot of time will get wasted. So now to understand this better, for example, if I just simply drop some spherical liquid kind of stuff, when it falls onto the surface, what happens? It spreads like this. Okay, why is it spreading out when you are releasing it like this? For example, let us say this is your water molecule or water drop. Now why it is spreading means because of its own weight. Okay, it will spread like this. Okay, so why further elaboration we will talk later. Okay, but it is flowing because of its own weight. Okay, so fluid is that. Okay, it can be air, it can be liquid. Okay, air can also be assumed to be fluid. Okay, for air also we can apply whatever we are learning, but with certain limitations and conditions. So that part we will see later, but fluid is this. Now next, your next part is, okay, now let us try to understand your basic terms used in this chapter. Okay, first let us try to understand basic terms used in this chapter. Now, what are your basic terms and what are their units? I will explain now. Okay, so your basic terms are, okay, first term, okay, whenever we are talking regarding a fluid, okay, mass is one thing. Okay, commonly used is pressure and volume, but first mass let us take. Now mass and weight both are different. Okay, mass is different, weight is different. Your weight is gravitational force. Okay, what is your weight? Your weight is gravitational force mg, mass times acceleration due to gravity, and its unit is Newton. Okay, weight unit is Newton, or your weight one more unit is kg weight. Whereas for mass unit, SI unit is kg, CGS unit is grams. Okay, mass unit is kg, okay, SI unit is kg, CGS unit is grams. Okay, now you need to understand, okay, what is the thing means. You are supposed to understand the units because you cannot give wrong answers. So for mass, 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. Okay, right? So keep this as, okay, first point. Second point is your 1 gram is 10 power minus 3 kg. Okay, this much if you remember, commonly used, that is enough. Next, Okay, weight is different, and 1 kg weight is approximately equivalent to 10 newtons. Okay, 1 kg weight is 10 newton. This you must have studied from your first Newton's laws of motion I have explained, okay, but only brief part. Next, coming to your second part, your volume. Now for volume, okay, what is the unit? For volume the unit is meter cube. Okay, now usually for liquids or fluids your volume is actually measured in liters or cc. So 1 liter is, okay, 1000 cc. 1000 cc in the sense it is 1000 meter cube. Centimeter cube. Okay, it is 1000 centimeter cube. Okay, right? Now 1 centimeter is how much? Means 10 power minus 2 meters. 1 centimeter is 10 power minus 2 meters. So now your 1 liter is going to become how much? Means, okay, your 1 liter is 1000 times 1 centimeter cube can be written as 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter. So that will give you 10 power 3 times 10 power minus 2 meters, 10 power minus 2 meters, 10 power minus 2 meters. So you are going to get 1 liter as, okay, 1 liter is 10 power 3, 10 power minus 6, 10 power minus 3 meter cube. So 1 liter is 1000 cc or it is 10 power minus 3 meter cube. Okay, so this is volume, that is mass or weight. Okay, right? So fluid is this, okay, and your mass and weight is this much. Mass unit is kg, and for this the unit is grams. Your weight unit is Newton or kg weight. Okay, and 1 kg is 1000 grams, 1 gram is 10 power minus 3 kg. And your volume unit is meter cube. 1 liter is 1000 cc, that is equal to 1000 centimeter cube. Like this you are supposed to replace. Okay, in terms of liters if required you are supposed to substitute. In terms of kg, kg to gram, gram to kg conversion you are supposed to do. Okay, right? Copy this stuff down, we will continue. Okay, you can pause the video clip and copy this stuff down. Okay, next, coming to your next part, your next part is, next thing that you have is density. Density is different, relative density is different. Okay, and in density there are lot of types of densities. Okay, in general for solids, okay, we will define linear mass density as, okay, this you will study in center of mass and moment of inertia. Lambda is equal to mass by length. For areal mass density, okay, looking at the word density, don't always think it is mass by volume. Your volume mass density is, okay, represented by rho, it is equal to mass by volume. Okay, for objects that are formed with help of lens, okay, with a kind of thin sheet of thread if you take, thin thread if you take, with that thin thread you can form objects like this. Okay, you can have thin rod, arc, such kind of objects. Your mass density is this. Areal mass density is mass by area, which can be found with help of sheet of paper and hollow objects, and where solid entire object that can be filled, that will become volume mass density. Okay, like this you have your solids classified into 3 categories like this. Okay, now for fluid there is no significance of length, okay, because if you take a liquid, what shape your liquid takes means your liquid takes the shape of container. So there is no point in defining length for fluid. There is no point in defining area for fluid. Only thing that is possible for a fluid is volume, because your length and area, they are not significant. For a fluid, which dimension is more significant means volume. Whatever shape of container you pour the liquid, that shape it takes, okay. So volume is related to fluid. So that is why for fluids your density, even though I am not specifying what type of density, by default your density is, okay, your density is mass by volume, okay, getting my point? It is your mass by volume, okay. Now your mass is constant, it will not change with respect to temperature. Your volume and density will change with respect to temperature. Anywhere if these questions are related with thermodynamics, look at the variation, but mass will remain constant. Now coming to your density unit, density of mass is kg, density of volume is meter cube, okay. Now your density of water is, okay, right. I mean, first if you are taking, let's not talk about water as of now. First let me elaborate little more about density. Now first units, okay, because if you don't substitute proper units, entire problem will just simply go waste. So units are also important. So first term is your unit. If you take, what is the unit of density means, okay, SI unit, okay, standard unit which we have to always use commonly is your kg per meter cube is SI unit. Your CGS unit is gram per centimeter cube. Centimeter cube is nothing but your cc, okay. Now if you take commonly used your density of water, commonly used in problems, what is commonly used is your density of water is, okay, what is your density of water? It is 1000 kg per meter cube or 1 gram per cc. Now how is that I am getting this? I will tell you, okay. So for example, if I give you a simple question like this, 1 kg per meter cube is equal to dash gram per cc is my question. Now 1 kg per meter cube can be written as, okay, it is 1 times 1 kg is how much? 1000 grams by 1 meter cube is 10 power minus 6 centimeter cube. So this will become, sorry, 10 power 6 plus 6, not minus 6. 1 meter is 100 centimeter, right? So that will give you 10 power minus 3 gram per cc. So it is 10 power minus 3 gram per cc. So if you take the reverse process, 1 gram per cc is 1000 kg per meter cube, okay. Interconversions you have to take care, okay. 1 kg per meter cube is 10 power minus 3 grams per cc, 1 gram per cc is 1000 kg per meter cube, okay. And what is commonly used? Your density of water, that is this much. Next, one more thing that you are supposed to remember is, okay, in some books this will be D, I am using the word rho, that is my habit. Next, your density of mercury, okay, mercury is hydrorgium, Hg. Your rho of Hg is 13,600 kg per meter cube or 13.6 gram per cc, okay, because 1 kg per meter cube is, we have seen it is 10 power minus 3 gram per cc. So multiply this 10 power minus 3, you are going to get 13.6. You multiply this with 10 power minus 3, you are going to get 1, okay. Now this you are supposed to remember, this is very important, commonly used. This is also you are supposed to remember this part also, because commonly used terms these are. Okay, commonly used. Okay, right? So I hope you have got all your basic stuff and there are no doubts. Okay, right? Let's continue. Next, our next part is I have calculated density. Okay, and I have calculated all this basic stuff, density, parts, units and all. Okay, now next, your density term is done. Your next definition is your relative density. Okay, your next term is relative density. What is relative density is what we are going to see. Now your next term is relative density. Relative density is represented by RD. Okay, it is also called as specific gravity. Relative density is also called as specific gravity. Now what is this relative density or specific gravity? I will explain now. Okay, but you will study more of this when you go to civil engineering and mechanical engineering. Aerodynamics, civil engineering and mechanical engineering departments, you will study a lot of stuff related to properties of solids, stress, strain, elasticity, all that stuff, as well as this Bernoulli's equation and fluids, how fluid flows and all, everything. Okay, so your entire fluid mechanics chapter will be related to civil engineering and mechanical engineering and aerospace, all such kind of stuff, and your entire electromagnetism will be related to electrical engineering department. Semiconductors and all will be in ECE. Like that, in different all the chapters that you are going to study will be further divided into specific branches of engineering except computer science. Okay, and in that too your thermodynamics is okay only one thing that doesn't except in CSE, in all other departments you will have thermodynamics, you will study in 4 semesters. So thermodynamics is very important. Okay, right? Next, now coming to this relative density and specific gravity part. Okay, both name is different but both actually mean the same. So your specific gravity or relative density is specific gravity is relative density or specific gravity is density of substance by density of water at 4 degrees centigrade. Simple. Okay, what is this? It is ratio. Okay, getting my point? It is your ratio. So it is density of substance or liquid by density of water at 4 degrees centigrade, but people will usually take anything greater than 4. Okay, now it is ratio. Okay, it is ratio. So unit of this is, it is unitless. Okay, it is unitless quantity. And what is the advantage of this? Okay, what is the advantage? Your advantage is your density of water is 1 gram per cc. Okay, we will neglect this, strictly speaking you have to write 4, but we will neglect, we will take it is 1 gram per cc, that is 1000 kg per meter cube. Now if you want density of substance is specific gravity times density of water, and your density of water is known. Okay, it is known how much 1 gram per cc, or it is 1000 kg per meter cube. Okay, this part is known to us. Okay, that is the advantage of this. Okay, this part is known to us and you have the advantage. Your density of substance is specific gravity times density of water. Okay, now your next thing is, okay, this is the advantage that you have. Now your next thing is, okay, now if you are trying to further calculate other quantities, for example, if I give you specific gravity of mercury is 13.6, that implies your density of Hg will become what? 13.6 times density of water, that is equal to 13.6 times density of water is 1 gram per cc, or that will become 13.6 times 1000 kg per meter cube is density of water. So you are going to get 13,600 kg per meter cube. Okay, so this is your relative density. Okay, right? Copy this stuff down. If you have any doubts, just let me know. Okay, it is unitless. Okay, it is ratio. It signifies how many times your body is much denser than density of water. Okay, almost all the objects or liquids will have density of substance greater than density of water. Okay, so this is usually greater than 1. Okay, right? Next, I am erasing this. Hope you have copied this stuff down. So let's start doing questions. Let us start with basics. Your first question is, find the specific gravity of mixture. Question 1. Find specific gravity of mixture. Okay, find specific gravity of mixture. Okay, if V1, V2, V3 so on up to Vn are volumes and S1, S2, S3 so on Sn are, okay, specific gravities of different liquids. Specific gravities of different liquids. Okay, now try to give the answer. Many people will think the answer as it is sigma s by sigma v. It is wrong. Okay, don't give such kind of silly answers. First calculate density of mixture, that is total mass of mixture by total volume of mixture. So that is going to become m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus so on up to mn by total volume is v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus so on up to vn. Now first, volume of substance is, okay, right, I mean first wait, first we have to take density of substance. Density of substance is not given, no, your mass is volume into density. So you are going to get V1 into density of same liquid. Is it mentioned in the equation? No. Fine. So your mass is rho 1 into V1 plus, mass M2 is rho 2 into V2 plus, mass M3 is rho 3 into V3 plus so on up to rho n into Vn whole divided by V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus so on up to Vn. Now we have seen your specific gravity is density by density of water. Okay, right? Now what is that I can do is, this is your rho of mixture. Now from this step I will do rearrangement. Observe carefully. Your density of mixture can be written as specific gravity of mixture times density of water, that is equal to V1 times, this will become rho 1 S1, rho of water into S1 plus V2 times rho of water into S2 plus V3 times rho of water into S3 plus V4 times rho of water into S4 plus so on by V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus so on up to Vn. So your specific gravity of mixture is, okay, it is V1 S1 plus V2 S2 plus V3 S3 plus so on up to Vn Sn by, okay, V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus so on up to Vn. So that is your specific gravity of mixture. Okay, so your answer is sigma of Vi Si by sigma of Vi from where to where, I equal to 1 to I equal to n. Okay, like this you are supposed to do the question. Okay, right. Next question is, instead of volumes, okay, your second question is, instead of volumes, let us say masses are given. Okay, m1, m2, m3 so on up to mn are given. You are supposed to give specific gravity of mixture. Okay, I am erasing this. This is number 2. Okay, try this. So your rho of mixture is m1 plus m2 plus m3 total mass by total volume, that is v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus so on up to vn. So that will become m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus so on up to mn by, this is going to become volume is density by, density is mass by volume, volume is mass by density, m1 by rho 1 plus m2 by rho 2 plus m3 by rho 3 plus so on up to mn by rho n. Now your rho of mixture you are going to get this much. Okay, so now this can be written as specific gravity times rho of water, that is equal to sigma of mi by m1 by, this can be written as, rho 1 can be written as S1 into rho of water, m2 times density is specific gravity into density of water plus m3 is S3 into rho of water, like this, plus so on. Okay, so finally that will give you, rho of water will go to the numerator. So this rho of water, if it goes to numerator, this side rho of water, that side rho of water will cancel off. Your specific gravity of mixture is going to become sigma of mi by Si. Okay, from where to where, I equal to 1 to I equal to n. How many liquids you are mixing, that many liquids you can add it. Okay, right. Hope you can calculate it this way. Okay, right. Hope you have understood everything. Okay, right. This is regarding your specific gravity. Okay, next is your pressure. Okay, now pressure is different, force is different. So your next term that you are supposed to understand is pressure. Okay, now at school level people will just write simply pressure is equal to force by area. In lower classes they will define it this way: for force unit is Newton, for area is meter square. Okay, so this they will define. Now if you are slightly studying to 10th standard, something like that, then they will write perpendicular component of force by area. If you come to little higher level, they will write small force dF by dA, like this. Okay, now each class, okay, our typical Indian education system, what it will do is, nowhere it gives proper definition. It keeps on changing. As you keep changing the classes, your definitions will keep changing. In school level, they will say current is charge by time. Later when they come to +1, they will study this as dq by dt or delta q by delta t. In the end, something else will come once again. Okay. Now, many places why all this confusion comes is, okay, because you do not know what is the basic quantities that you are measuring. Okay. But those who are attending my class or those who are following my lectures, I told you, every time you measure any quantity, it is either average or instantaneous value. So if I am using total force by total area, indirectly I am referring to average quantity, and if I am using the word dF by dA, I am referring to instantaneous quantity. But what is this perpendicular component and all, I will tell you. Okay, right? So now here, okay, for example, for clarity's sake, let us say you are applying some force F like this. Now this is your surface. Let us say this angle is theta. Okay. Now in physics I have told you, okay, you will take parallel transport while you are writing the components. If your force F applied is this way, if you do parallel transport, this becomes F, this will become theta. This component is F sin theta component. This component is F cos theta component. Now here your pressure is scalar quantity. Okay, remember pressure is scalar. Okay, now if you are talking of pressure on this surface, okay, this is your perpendicular component of force. Okay, and this is your parallel component to the surface. This is perpendicular to surface, this is perpendicular to surface here, this is parallel to surface. You basically have two components. Okay, one is perpendicular to the surface and other is parallel to surface. Okay, now if you take this pressure, okay, unit of pressure is how much means, okay, your unit of pressure is, sorry, if you write it here, unit is force by area in any definition, so that is Newton per meter square. This 1 Newton per meter square we will usually write it as Pascal. Okay, 1 Pascal is, okay, 1 Pascal is 1 Newton per meter square. This we will use for pressure. Now if you take this pressure here, your pressure on surface, okay, usually you will talk of that is force that is acting on area, that is your perpendicular surface by area. So if you take a area A here, okay, on this across the surface we will talk of pressure. Okay, your pressure is defined across an area, like how you are defining your current across a cross section. Even though I am using the word I equal to Q by T, here I don't have area. We take an area and then we will calculate across this area how much charge is going. In a similar way, on that particular area, how much force is being exerted perpendicularly on this surface. Okay, so this is your perpendicular component of force on surface, not the area vector. Area vector if you take for this part, okay, your area vector is this way, it is perpendicular to surface. I am not considering the component that is perpendicular to area. I am taking your perpendicular component of force on the surface by area. So according to that, this becomes your F cos theta by A. Okay, now why, like for example, why we are able to cut vegetables with knife means your A is small, your F is more, that is why your pressure is more. Okay, small area, more pressure. Okay, you cannot cut it with finger even though you apply large amount of force, because here A is big. If you are hitting something like this, your area is more. Okay, when area is more, pressure becomes less. When A is less, pressure becomes more. So that is why when you are cutting vegetables, what happens is your knife, because it is being thin, your area is small and force is more, you will have lot of pressure. So that is why you can cut vegetables with knife, because you are going to apply more amount of pressure on the vegetable surface compared to your fingers. Okay, right? So this is your basic definition. Now coming to the units part, okay, there are other things that you are supposed to know. First you copy this, okay, right? Now your pressure unit, why all this stuff I will tell you, okay? Don't get confused, okay? Many people will write many units, but I will simplify all those for you at one place. From now on, don't get confused with the units. Units of pressure. Okay, don't get confused with these basic units. First unit is 1 Newton per meter square is 1 Pascal. This is first unit. Second, your pressure is also expressed in terms of atmosphere. 1 atmospheric pressure is 1.01 into 10 power 5 pascals. Okay, 1 atmospheric pressure is 1.01 into 10 power 5 pascals. Pascal is the SI unit, it is Newton per meter square. Okay, your SI unit is this much. This is your SI unit. Okay, next, sometimes pressure is also written as, people will write 1 atmospheric pressure is 76 centimeter of Hg column, or people will write it as H centimeter of mercury column or water column, something they will write. Here many people will think this length is, okay, even while studying I have this doubt. Centimeter is unit of length, how did this become pressure? Means this Hg column is there, no, from that. Okay, later I will explain, but for now this is also pressure. And when you are given like this, what is your pressure is H into rho into G. Okay, your G value is 10, your density of mercury is 13,600 kg per meter cube. This is 10 meter per second square. This is your kg per meter cube, and 76 centimeter means you check it is 76 by 100. You multiply all this. Okay, height unit is once again meters. Meter cube will cancel off kg per second square. If you check all, once again you are going to get Newton per meter square. Okay, check the units properly, you are going to get this. Okay, so acceleration due to gravity is meter per second square. Yeah, so check unit of Newton per meter square dimensions, and this you are going to get, once this is equal to, this entire thing is once again around 1.01 into 10 power 5 pascals you are going to get. That much Newton per meter square you are going to get like this. So when length is given, it is H into rho into G. How this comes I will explain, don't worry. Okay, so this coming soon. Okay, next that part only. So next we will see, but like this you will have different units of pressure. And in chemistry, okay, you will have unit of torr. Okay, torr bar. So I don't remember the values of torr and bar. Okay, I don't have my mobile also, you check it in exact values. Okay, you can check it from the books. Okay, I will not remember this because my part is I don't remember lot of stuff. I will just remember the physics logic part of it. Okay, right? So bar, torr, different people will use different units, but commonly used are top ones. Okay, right? Next, now let's continue further. Now we have bar, we have torr, we have everything. Okay, right. Next, now let us start going into further details. Okay, now let us take a container. Okay, now we will start expressing pressure, okay, in detail. Now let me take a container. Now whenever you are taking this container in 3D, okay, even though I am drawing this figure like this, in 3D what is that you are supposed to do is, you are supposed to imagine this container, okay, it could be open, it could be closed, that's a secondary thing, okay. I can close the top part, I am closing the bottom part, lot of stuff I can do. Now when I am filling the liquid in this container, what should automatically come to your mind is, okay, your liquid is being filled in all these dimensions, okay, it is being filled here, 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 everywhere in 3D, okay. Now if you take pressure, okay, if you take the pressure, now always remember, okay, there could be all possibilities, okay, top of this could be open, top of this could be closed, that means something is, I mean this is closed or open, okay. Now if you have vacuum, okay, then no pressure, okay, in vacuum there will be no pressure at all, okay. In vacuum what is the pressure means, in vacuum your pressure value is equal to 0, okay, in vacuum no pressure or 0 pressure. Now if you take this container here, okay, on this container, because of top part of liquid, on the bottom region your pressure will be acting this way, pressure is not having any direction, okay, right. Pressure will usually be in pushing sense, okay, I will not give direction but I will say it is in pushing sense. So top liquid will push the surface downwards, okay, that means if you want force on bottom is, I can write it as pressure at bottom into area. Similarly if you are taking pressure this side, okay, pressure towards right, okay, pressure towards right is, on the right face if you are taking, okay, it will be towards right sense, your force direction is nothing but, many people will commonly use it as force direction as pressure direction. Pressure is a scalar quantity, for scalar quantities it's not a good approach to indicate the pressure, but pressure we will just try to give the direction, but pressure is not having any direction. So your force is, in this case your force direction is, your force towards right is pressure on right surface into area of right surface, this is area of bottom surface. Next, if you take this left face, okay, your pressure is towards left on this face, now your force on left face is pressure in left region into area, okay. Now here this is, if it is constant we will write pressure into area, but for this end and this end you should not write pressure into area, okay. Why we are not supposed to write pressure into area, I will tell you. Why? Because along this surface if you take from top to bottom your pressure is different, okay. For this face of container different points will have different pressures, as you keep changing height your pressure will change, so different points will have different pressure, okay, and this side also different points will have different pressure, okay, different points will have different pressure. Now you are actually supposed to define pressure at a point, but we are defining pressure at for the entire surface, okay, but if I am defining pressure over a region, I am going to take the average value if it is varying, or else it will be constant everywhere. So that is why our basic definition of pressure is actually small force by small area dA. This is your correct definition. And if you want total force, what is that you do? Small force dF is P times dA. If you want total force, it is integral of dF is equal to integral of P times dA. So that will give you your total force. Integrating small force will give you total force. Okay, so when it is variable, you are forced to get the force, you cannot write pressure into area. You have to take how pressure is varying as function of distance and then integrate it. So whereas if you take the bottom part, for the bottom part there will be not much issue because everywhere your pressure is constant. Okay, usually your pressure will be constant at that particular height, but as you keep changing the height up or down, your pressure will keep changing. Okay, getting my point? So now here all these points on this line 1 will have same pressure, line 2 will have same pressure, but from 1 and 2 P1 is not equal to P2. Okay, your pressure usually changes with respect to height. Okay, P changes with respect to height. Why that is the case, I will tell you, but remember this, pressure changes with respect to height. Okay, and in the horizontal direction also there is possibility of pressure changing, provided if this container moves. Okay, if this container is moving in the horizontal direction also there will be pressure, but I will come to that part separately for the liquids moving in the containers and all, that part I will discuss separately, but for now just keep these ideas in mind. Okay, now let us consider a static container. Okay, and let us try to do some basic calculations related to this stuff. Okay, just let me check. Okay, now let me try to do basic questions related to calculation of pressure, then you will get very good amount of clarity. Now let us consider a closed rectangular tank and let us consider an open rectangular tank. Both are there. Okay, now in this chapter we will usually define pressure for fluids only. For solids also you can define pressure. Okay, provided if you are applying the force in perpendicular direction. Okay, now here let us consider a rectangular tank. Okay, now this rectangular tank is having dimensions of 2 into 3 into 4. What is this 2? Length, breadth, height. Okay, so this part is L, this part is B, this part is H. Okay, now for this part, okay, it is a closed container. Okay, it is closed. Now what is happening is you are filling this with completely with water. Okay, now your first question is find first question is force exerted by liquid on bottom of tank, okay, when it is closed. Second case, when it is open also you can find out, initially it is closed. Okay, right. Next, second thing is pressure at bottom when it is open and when it is at closed part, how much is the pressure? You are filling it with water, the liquid is water. Give your answers, I will explain the solution anyhow. Okay, hope you have tried it. Now if you take this part, your liquid will apply some force. Okay, when bodies are in contact, I told you normal reaction. So on the bottom there will be normal reaction. your force on bottom is nothing but your normal reaction. That implies your pressure on bottom is normal reaction by area. But this normal reaction is, okay, if you take liquid, okay, I am trying to draw free body diagram. On this liquid, bottom applies N, liquid will apply its own weight mg. This is FBD of liquid, this is FBD of bottom part. Okay, why am I doing in this pattern? Why is that I am not writing directly mg by A means? Probably if this system is accelerating, when the system is kept in a lift or this tank is kind of going upwards, then what happens? You cannot write mg by A. Pressure at the bottom is mg by A. If you write, you will get wrong answer if this is accelerating. You will get pressure equal to mg by A provided only if and only if your system is at rest. So when liquid is at rest, your N is equal to mg. So your pressure at bottom is mg by A. Okay, getting my point? Don't get confused. Okay, your liquid applies normal reaction N on the bottom. You have to consider that N part. Okay, and your bottom applies N on the liquid. In this case, this container, if it is not accelerating upwards, if this container is at rest instead of accelerating upwards, in that case your N is equal to mg. So in this case, what is your force exerted means? Okay, your force exerted answer is its own weight. Force exerted is weight mg. Okay, it is actually N. N is equal to mg here. Your mg is volume into density into g, right? For your mass is what? Volume into density. So volume is given as how much means it is indirectly nothing but your cuboid. For a cuboid, what is your volume? Length into breadth into height. So 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24. So 24 meter cube times density of liquid is 1000 kg per meter cube times acceleration due to gravity, g value is 10. Okay, so you are going to get your force in Newton. You can give this. Now coming to pressure at bottom. Okay, for this closed part we will do first. For open part I will give the answer. Okay, now this part is the logic. Okay, this part is calculation. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, why did this fellow do all this stuff? Don't think in that manner. I am explaining everything in proper sequence. So if it is closed container, your force will be only because of liquid alone. Okay, for closed container, force at bottom will be because of liquid alone. Okay, because of liquid alone. Okay, right? So your bottom pressure is, okay, your bottom pressure is, pressure at bottom is normal reaction by area, that is equal to mg by A. Now your bottom area is length into breadth, provided if I take length this way, breadth this way and height this way, if I take it, your bottom area will be length into breadth for this cylindrical tank. Okay, hope you are following it, no doubts. Okay, so length into breadth, so it is LBH into density of liquid into G by area is L into B. LB will cancel off. You are going to get H into rho of liquid into G is pressure at bottom. So this is why we are writing pressure at bottom as height H into rho into G. We are writing pressure at bottom as H rho G from this part only. Okay, provided we can write pressure at bottom as H into rho into G when this top surface is closed. Okay, right? My discussion I have done for closed part. Okay, all these calculations are for closed cylinder. Now if it is open, in this case what will come extra I will explain, but first copy this stuff down. Okay, if the container is closed, how much is the force means N equal to mg, that is this much. Okay, here N is the key idea that you are supposed to take. Next, for the bottom part, if it is open, if it is closed, your force is only because of liquid alone. So because of liquid alone, this much is pressure, your pressure is H into rho into G. Okay, right? Now I will calculate if it is open. Okay, if it is open in this case, what is going to be your force is what we are going to calculate now. If it is open, observe very carefully. If it is in lift, then some other value comes automatically, but static container and it is not in lift, it is at rest. So again 2, 3, 4. This time it is open. Okay, now your liquid is here filled completely. Okay, people will keep dots, but because of lack of time I will quickly wind it up. Now if you take the bottom part, you have mg on the liquid, but apart from mg on this liquid, okay, I will first draw FBD of each. Okay, I am trying to draw free body diagram of liquid. Now if you take the liquid, because of its own weight mg, because of contact with bottom, normal reaction N. Now when it is open, okay, when it is open like this, okay, let us consider LBH dimensions here. Height is H, bottom is L into B. Now when it is open, what happens? You have your force because of atmospheric pressure. Your atmospheric pressure, what will your air do is, when the surface is open, your air will push the liquid downwards. So in this case, on the liquid, N minus mg minus P naught into A. Okay, P naught is what? Your atmospheric pressure. I will write P atmospheric pressure into A is equal to 0 when liquid is at rest. If it is accelerating, you have to write MA, and from that you have to calculate the value of N. So your N is P atmosphere into area plus, what is M means, it is equal to M into G. Now keep this aside. What is your M means? P atmosphere into area of base is L into B plus mass is LBH into rho of liquid into G. Mass is volume into density. So now I have calculated normal reaction completely. Now what is your force on bottom? This is your liquid's FBD diagram. Now bottom surface you have to take. For this bottom part, if you want pressure, your surface applies N on the liquid, liquid applies N on the bottom part, your force on bottom is N, that is this much. Okay, it is this value of N. So how much it is? LB into P atmosphere plus LBH into rho of liquid into G. This is your force on bottom, and your pressure on bottom is force on bottom by area. Area is nothing but your L into B. Okay, for this part your area value is L into B. So that will give you P atmosphere plus H into rho into G. Okay, so if atmosphere is considered, you have to write P atmosphere plus H rho G. This atmosphere value is given as 1.01 into 10 power 5 pascals usually. Okay, H is height, rho is density of liquid, G is acceleration due to gravity. Okay, H is height of the liquid column. Okay, so here this part is different, this part is different. Okay, this is because of liquid alone, this is because of atmosphere as well. Okay, getting my point, right? So if open surfaces are there, atmospheric pressure also you are supposed to consider. Okay, now let's continue further from this entire story. What is the conclusion? I will tell you. Okay, now we have seen that, okay, from these two examples, what is that we have seen is if you have a container, okay, key takeaway on what I have explained so far, that I am giving you as conclusion. Your conclusion is, you have a container like this, and in this container, if I am filling the liquid up to height h, okay, your pressure will change with respect to height as, okay, your pressure on top bottom, okay, your pressure at bottom is, okay, on the surface you will have atmospheric pressure P naught, density of liquid is rho L if I assume, pressure at this bottom point is, okay, P naught plus height of liquid column that you have times rho of liquid into G. Okay, now in this term is called as gauge pressure. Okay, gauge pressure means what you will be able to see. Okay, gauge means, I mean, some kind of vessel wherein which you will be able to see the height or measure the height. So that is why this is called gauge pressure. This is your atmospheric pressure, and together these two terms are called as absolute pressure. Okay, your absolute pressure is atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. Okay, right? Hope there are no doubts, and your atmospheric pressure value is 76 centimeter of Hg, 1.01 into 10 power 5 pascals. Okay, this much if you learn, then that is more than enough. Okay, and we'll continue from here in tomorrow's class. That's all for today. Thank you. Please do share and subscribe to my channel, Prashant Physics Classes. Don't forget that. This is my channel name. Okay, problem solving sessions, I will keep private links for my students. Okay, so here H is there. Okay, keep that in mind. That's all for today. Thank you.